I learned so much when I got comfortable with saying I don't know. And that's the relationship with the unknown. Have a healthy relationship with the Whoa, what it is. Happy to have y'all here. You guys are tuned into the More Podcast. I'm your host, JB Stewart. This is the podcast all about tapping into their human potential and bringing out the more that already exists within inside of you. Hey guys, look under the video. You know what you need to do. Like right now, because Increased Fruit got to touch millions. That's the affirmation. That's what we put out. Subscribe. Hit that notification button. Pop that notification button. Gently tap that notification button. I'm not playing with you. The notification button. Go ahead and hit it. And we're going to keep it coming. This is content that's about inspiring potential within every individual. That's the mission. This is the focus. This is why we do what we do, because the world is better when the individual is better. The world is built upon the efforts, the existence, the cohesion of healthy individuals making it happen for their neighbors. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, but you can't love your neighbor if you don't have a knowledge of the individual. And this is why we're here. This is what we come to serve. This is episode 6. Episode 6, we're going to call this one The Qualities of a Learning Mentality. But you already know, we'll never start an episode without an affirmation. So here's our first segment, our affirmation. Today, here's what we got. I started to learn when I got comfortable with saying I don't know. Affirmation is, I started to learn when I got comfortable saying I don't know. In other words, I'm not going to even say it in other words. I'm just going to say it again. I started to learn when I became comfortable with saying, I don't know. And you know how we do affirmations here. I say it every week. It's to redeem the self-talk, because often life is the story that you tell yourself. You can think of it like this. I was reading a book yesterday, and they talked about the difference between objective reality, which is objects, is that which is observable, undeniable, and the perception, the feeling, the interpretations of these objects or realities, in which we call narrative. A lot of your life is simply what you tell yourself, and that happens as a dialogue, a playwright within your own consciousness, within your own awareness. That's why Shakespeare say, the whole world is a play, and everybody is playing a character. Everybody is following suit of how they think they should behave. Right? Back to what we love to say on our podcast. The way you feel about yourself is the quality of your life, right? And the other one, the way you think about yourself, that's who you are. Redeeming the self-talk is super important. And our affirmation is, I started to learn so much when I got comfortable with saying I don't know. And the power in this is because many of us don't learn, just like Mark Zuckerberg famously said, because there isn't room for failure. And we know that all great discoveries are happening in the unknown. And the funny thing about the unknown is it's a bit dark. And I don't know about y'all. Like I said, I film in my bedroom right now. When I stomp my toe on the edge of that bed, your boy is flipping. Yo, mother, blah, 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 blah. I want to punch a hole through the wall. If a face was there, I will crash my fist in there. Because being in the unknown and running into some problems are painful. But in pain is also intelligence. It's experience, it's learning. It is the new narrative, right, of expansion. I've went into the dark, something I didn't know before, and now I know now what I didn't know before. So now here's the catch. I see myself differently. I'm more evolved, my understanding of myself. I'm more colorful and I'm stronger as a consequence of it. And the other one, just apart from myself, I'm of greater benefit because now I have experience that when I articulate it, it may add to other human beings the same way me going into the darkness and discovering add to me. Hence, literature. Our world is filled with it. It's all in our nose. So back to the affirmation. I learned so much when I got comfortable with saying, I don't know. And that's the relationship with the unknown. Have a healthy relationship with the unknown. I love it. I just love it. I feel free with that. I really feel free. Like a kid. Not being afraid of failure is the path to success. Ain't that something? Because you got to go down real deep so you can go up. It's almost like a tree, a mighty oak. It has to go down real deep. It has to experience the negative before it sprouts and ascends to the positive. And that's so often the theme in life. But let's get into something else. Okay, so this episode 6 is called The Qualities of a Learning Mentality. And this brings us into segment 2, which I like to call Gold is Better Shared. Because I could be King Midas, but if I'm King Midas and everything that I touch is gold, or everything that I value is tangible, then maybe I touch my daughter like King Midas and she turns into gold, and my whole life is tangibles, and I'm without the intangibles that really fulfill me. So wisdom and knowledge is better shared as opposed to kept to yourself. This segment 2, gold is better shared. We're going to get into 3 qualities of a learning mentality. Just know that this list isn't all inclusive. I just think that there are 3 good points that are easily applicable. Because you know how I feel. If you can't apply it, if it doesn't change you, if it isn't wisdom that you can embody and transform as a result, I mean, you should look at if it's worthy of your time and effort. So let's get into the first quality, guys. Celebrate everything. Correct anything. Celebrate everything. Correct anything. And a part of that point is very often you can become imbalanced with progression. Or we could be so forward thinking that we forget history. Or we could be so entrenched in history that we don't move forward. And the two have to come together and become one. So when you celebrate everything, you bring your vibrations to the states of gratitude, and you employ incitement. Incitement is to incite. Sight having to do with word. When I'm incited, I'm intrigued, and my energy is adapting to what I am seeing. It's almost like I'm embodying, right, an expression of my admiration. And when I embody an expression of my admiration, I tie a rope around my waist and I'm guided by influences, right, that's in a direction to what I desire. Gratitude is simply key to being involved with the positive. You won't ever be involved with the positive unless there's a gratitude. So, celebrate everything. But quality of a learning mentality, correct anything. I learned this lesson from people doing a poor job with not changing. I learned this lesson from companies who didn't adapt and lost market share. I learned this lesson from athletes who grew old and didn't adjust their game. I learned this lesson in nature. The fact of the matter is everything has its time and everything has its place. And timing is crucial. So if you aren't willing to correct anything, then what you're saying is you're not willing to move along with the times. You'll be like a person who decide that you still want to wear Daisy Dukes when it's 45 degrees outside or 23 degrees outside or below zero. Or you'll be the person who got your pink fur coat on, you know what I'm saying, on your cam type stuff. And you hot as hell about to catch a heat stroke in this Louisiana musty humidity weather. You aren't adjusting with the time. What you've done is you've relinquished being responsible and being adaptable. Correcting anything about you should be on the table to change if it's not beneficial. Meanwhile, never being discouraged or having a negative outlook about it because you are enthroned with the potential of being adaptable, right? And evolving. Point 2. I love it. Let me pull this thing up right fast for you guys. Glory. Patience works in your favor. Patience works in your favor. It's better to be patient. It's better to be patient. Patience works for you. Qualities of a learning mentality. Everything in life, if it wants to be sweet, has to go through its process. And we know if you skip a process, then you lose something on the ladder. And try to rush raising a child. Or perhaps you are a child that had to rush and be raised and you came into adulthood earlier and as a result got to deal with some trauma of growing up fast, never having a childhood. Classic case, Michael Jackson. Patience, it exemplifies process. Patience is a type of grace, a type of timing for everything to come to maturation within its own process. If you treat a company that's a startup the same way you would treat an established business, you ain't gonna grow. It's a different grind when you're getting off the ground. You're not on maintenance mode. You go get it. There's more risk involved, and you need to have a risk type of mentality. But if you treat a established business like a startup, well, what are you going to do with your customer loyalty? People know you for this and that. You just want to reinvent yourself and not bring people along with you? Hold up, you can't do that. You got too many departments to manage, right? If you treat your family, if you treat your kids like they're 2 years old when they're 35, mom, you stress for no reason. You ain't got to be taking care of no grown man like he a baby. You have to have patience within its process because processes are necessary to growth and they require different type of things. So a patient person learns to handle things in their order, in their timing. And if you don't, well, you're a fool. And that's not being a learner. That's not submitting to the wisdom. That's not humbling yourself to the way that things are. And the third one, I love this one, okay? I love this one. The question is greater than the answer. Qualities of a learning mentality. See, the affirmation goes, I learned so much when I got comfortable with saying I don't know. The way that ties in is, in order for me to learn, I have to enter the unknown. I have to enter that which I don't know. In order for me to evolve, I have to be stretched and challenged in ways that I have not. I have to be stretched and stressed in aspects that have not been there before. And whenever you are interacting with the unknown, or that which you are uncomfortable with, you are being plagued with questions in your mind. Things of the nature of, is this worth it? How to do this? When is this going to pay off? What is going on? Why am I here? And it's this questioning that adds to you. The quality of the questions that you ask will determine the qualities of the answers that you get. So it isn't about being focused on the answer. It's about coming up with the most quality questions. The real learner knows that there's infinite sides of the story. And to be most versed and most well-rounded and most evolved and most complete, I must go to each aspect and fellowship in each experience so that I can walk away with the more. The question is always greater than the answer. And once you get the answer, if you are to take it forward, you're provoked to more questioners. I'm under the impression that for each answer that I get, there's 10 more questions to be asked about that answer. Look, I'll be in a rabbit hole. I'll go down deep, deep, deep. But just like the oak tree, I'll sprout up high, high, high. Because going down simultaneously brings you up. So I appreciate that. I just love that. I think that's so helpful. Let's get into the application of this. How do I start to develop the attitudes of a learned person? I be giving simple applications because here's the thing. Most people don't do it anyways. Okay? Read and study. I once heard it said by Bob Proctor, the only way to understand life is to study. But what is studying? Studying is repetition. Study is actively re-engaging with the questions over and over and over and over and over again to dig deep within the question until you discover an answer that's suitable to resolve the inquiry that exists within your heart. The question that I want to ask you is, who are you really? Who are you really? And if you can satisfy that, then I'm sure that your life would be so much different. But you won't satisfy it until you study. That's the application challenge. Pick up a book and have conversations with people who know more about things than you. Become a student to that. Guys, thank y'all for tuning into the More Podcast episode 6. You already know what it is, the quality of a learning mentality, because if we can get past the ignorance, we can get to the righteousness and humble ourselves to the way that things could be. The higher potential, you know what it is. Like, share, subscribe. If you enjoy the content, if it impacts you in any way, please promote, because here's the affirmation: increase fruit, touch 1 million lives, and impact so many families around the world. Thank y'all. Y'all be blessed. Peace to you. Who are you really? I am potential. Yes, sir.